You eat one meal, just one, and then you don't eat again for roughly 22 to 24 hours. That's OMAD, one meal a day. And on the surface, it sounds borderline unhinged. But here's the thing. Your body isn't just sitting there waiting for the next plate. It's cycling through 6 completely distinct metabolic phases, each one more interesting than the last. So let's break down exactly what's happening inside you, hour by hour, behind the scenes. Stage 1. You just finished eating. Clock starts now. The second food hits your digestive system, your pancreas gets the memo and fires off a serious insulin surge. Think of insulin as the delivery driver that shows up with a truck full of glucose and starts knocking on every cell's door. Here's your energy. Sign here. Your muscles and liver soak it up, packing glucose away as glycogen for later. Your blood sugar climbs, your cells are fueled up, and everything feels pretty great. But here's the trade-off nobody talks about. While insulin is running the show, fat burning is completely switched off. Lipolysis, your body's process of breaking down stored fat, gets suppressed hard during this window. Your body has incoming fuel, so it's not going anywhere near the reserves. And if you ate more than your cells immediately needed, that extra glucose gets converted into glycogen first, and whatever's left over gets stored as fat. No judgment, that's just the system doing its job. This fed state, hours 0 to 4, is the starting line. Everything that comes after is your body slowly, methodically shifting gears. Stage 2. The delivery driver has left the building. Somewhere between hour 4 and hour 8, something quiet but significant starts happening. Your last bite is long gone, digestion is wrapping up, and insulin levels begin dropping back down. Blood sugar, which was riding high after your meal, gradually settles back to its normal baseline. Nothing dramatic yet, just the body downshifting. But your brain still needs glucose, your organs still need fuel, and you're not eating, so what gives? This is where your liver steps in like a backup generator. It kicks on a process called glycogenolysis, which sounds complicated, but the concept is dead simple. Remember all that glycogen your liver packed away during the fed state? Your body stored it specifically for moments like this. Glycogenolysis is just the liver cracking open that storage locker and releasing glucose back into your bloodstream. It's your body running on its own reserves, quietly, efficiently, without you needing to do a single thing. You're no longer fueled by your meal. You're fueled by yourself. Now, here's where a lot of people expect things to go sideways. You'd think that by hour 6, you'd be raiding cabinets and making poor decisions near the snack aisle. But for most OMAD practitioners, that intense, desperate hunger just doesn't show up on schedule. And there's actually a biological reason for that. Ghrelin, the hormone most responsible for triggering hunger signals, tends to stay relatively low during this early fasting window. Your body is still well stocked, the glycogen reserves are flowing, and the system isn't sounding any alarm bells yet. Many people trying OMAD for the first time are genuinely surprised by how manageable hours 4 through 8 feel. It's not willpower, it's hormones cooperating. This phase is essentially the bridge, the handoff between running on food and running on stored energy. It's smooth, it's controlled, and your body has been doing it on autopilot your entire life. Stage 3 is where things get a lot more interesting. Stage 3. The backup generator just ran out of gas. Around hour 12, something genuinely pivotal happens inside you. That glycogen your liver has been so generously releasing, gone, depleted. The storage locker is empty. And we're not talking about a vague, approximate kind of empty. Your liver holds roughly 80 to 100 grams of glucose in reserve, and by this point, your body has burned through all of it. That's a real number, a measurable threshold, and crossing it changes everything. So now what? Here's where your body does something that honestly deserves more credit than it gets. Rather than panicking, rather than shutting down, it executes a fuel switch that evolution has been perfecting for hundreds of thousands of years. It pivots to fat. Your fat cells, which have been sitting patiently on the sidelines this whole time, start releasing fatty acids into the bloodstream. The liver picks those up and begins oxidizing them for energy. This is the metabolic crossover, the moment your body officially transitions from running on stored carbohydrates to running on stored fat. And it happens automatically, without you having to think about it, because you were literally built for this. But there's one problem. Fatty acids are great fuel for your muscles, your heart, your liver, but your brain is picky. It can't run on fatty acids directly. So your liver does something clever. It converts some of those fatty acids into molecules called ketone bodies. Think of ketones as a brain-compatible version of fat fuel. The liver manufactures them and ships them out, and your brain starts using them as an alternative energy source. This is the very beginning of ketogenesis, and it kicks in right around that 12-hour mark. This isn't some extreme biological event reserved for hardcore fasters. It's a completely normal, adaptive response your body is designed to execute. It happened to your ancestors during every hunting trip, every cold season, every stretch between meals. It's happening to you now. The crossover is complete. And from here, things accelerate. Stage 4. Your body stops borrowing and starts burning. Between hours 14 and 16, this whole process kicks into a higher gear. And if you're doing OMAD for fat loss, this is the window you've been waiting for. Fat oxidation doesn't just continue here, it accelerates, measurably and dramatically. Researchers actually have a way to track this in real time. It's called the respiratory quotient. Basically, a ratio of the gases you breathe out that tells scientists whether your body is burning carbohydrates or fat. On a typical 3-meal day, that number stays high, meaning carbs are doing most of the work. But during a 22-hour fast, the respiratory quotient drops significantly, showing your body is burning roughly 2 to 3 times more fat than it would on a normal eating schedule. 2 to 3 times. That's not a rounding error. That's a fundamentally different metabolic state. Now, here's the part that makes a lot of people nervous about fasting, the muscle question. If your body is scrambling for fuel, is it going to start eating your muscle? This is where growth hormone becomes your best friend. Around this time, your body dramatically ramps up growth hormone secretion, and one of its main jobs is to protect lean tissue. It tells your body, in no uncertain terms, burn the fat, leave the muscle alone. It simultaneously amplifies lipolysis, which is the process of pulling fatty acids out of fat cells, while actively signaling muscle tissue to hold its structure. You're not sacrificing muscle to survive. You're being selective in the best possible way. And then there's autophagy, a word that sounds like something went wrong, but is actually the opposite. Autophagy is your cell's internal recycling system. Damaged proteins, dysfunctional components, cellular junk that's been accumulating, your body starts breaking it all down and repurposing it for something useful. Early autophagy starts ramping up in this window, though it's worth knowing that precise human timing is partly inferred from animal models, so the exact hour isn't set in stone. The machinery is running clean, and the next phase takes it even further. Stage 5. Your body is running on a fuel source most people never tap into. By hour 18, something has shifted in a way that's genuinely hard to overstate. You're not just in fat-burning mode anymore, you're in deep ketosis, and your brain is absolutely loving it. Here's the number that matters: beta-hydroxybutyrate, the primary ketone body your liver is producing right now, has crossed the 0.5 millimoles per liter threshold. That's the official cutoff for nutritional ketosis, and it means your brain and body are running on one of the cleanest, most efficient fuel sources in your metabolic toolkit. Glucose gets you through the day, but ketones? They generate more energy per unit of oxygen consumed. And many people report a distinct mental clarity in this window that a standard eating schedule never produces. Your organs aren't panicking anymore. They've figured out the backup generator, and it's actually better than the original. Autophagy, which started ramping up in the previous stage, is now operating at full capacity. Your cells are deep in cleanup mode, breaking down damaged proteins, clearing out dysfunctional components, essentially doing a sweep of everything that's been sitting around causing problems. Now, it's worth being honest here. Scientists can measure autophagy markers, but precisely quantifying it in living humans in real time is still an active area of research. What we can say is that this level of extended fasting is associated with robust autophagic activity, and that cellular housekeeping at this scale is something your body simply doesn't prioritize when food keeps arriving every few hours. And then there's something happening in your gut that almost nobody talks about. The migrating motor complex kicks in. Think of it as your digestive system's built-in cleaning crew. Between meals, your gut runs these rhythmic waves of contractions that sweep residual contents through the digestive tract, clearing things out and keeping motility healthy. On a constant eating schedule, that process gets interrupted repeatedly. During an extended fast like this one, it finally gets to run its full cycle, uninterrupted. You're not depleted right now, you're optimized. And then you eat. Within minutes of that single meal landing, your body snaps back into the fed state like nothing happened. Insulin surges, glucose floods in, and the whole fasting machinery powers down, at least for now. But here's what's fascinating about doing this day after day. Your body gets smarter each time. This is called metabolic flexibility, and it's basically your body's ability to switch cleanly between glucose and fat as fuel sources. Most people on a standard eating schedule are stuck in glucose mode almost permanently. Their bodies barely remember how to run on fat. But repeat the OMAD cycle consistently, and that switching mechanism gets sharper, faster, and more efficient. You're essentially training your metabolism the same way you train a muscle. And the data backs this up. An 11-day OMAD trial tracked real outcomes in real people, and the results were measurable. Participants lost an average of 1.4 kilograms of body weight and 0.7 kilograms of fat mass. Fat oxidation increased. Daytime glucose concentrations dropped significantly, particularly in that 12 to 24-hour window after the meal. And critically, insulin sensitivity wasn't impaired. HOMA-IR stayed intact. So the body isn't just losing weight, it's handling fuel more efficiently without any metabolic trade-off. Now, the honest caveat, your results will depend on where you're starting from. Your baseline metabolic health, how active you are, what's actually in that one meal, all of it matters. And while the short-term data is genuinely promising, the long-term effects of daily 23-hour fasting are still being studied. Science is still catching up to the practice, but here's the bigger picture. You've just traveled through 6 distinct metabolic stages, from the insulin spike of that first bite all the way to deep ketosis, cellular cleanup, and gut restoration. Every single hour had a purpose. Every phase was your body doing something deliberate and, honestly, kind of remarkable. OMAD isn't just skipping meals. When you understand what's actually happening under the hood, it starts looking a lot less like restriction and a lot more like a tool you actually know how to use.